Even like getting swapped around hurts the Sven a lot. It's really down to how much can you get out of your Sven without having him taken away from the fight, because that's a continuing issue we've seen with a hero.
Yeah.
Even
No,
in this case, right? You buy a BKB, you're still going to worry about the swap.
yeah, that and the fact that a lot of the damage that's coming out from EHOME doesn't really care for the BKB anyway, if you were going to go down that route. Like, you've got this Lycan, you've got this DK, you've got this Prophet, none of which really care at all for that magic immunity. I don't even know if Arme would even bother with the BKB this game. Seems maybe a little bit worthless. I'm not 100% on that yet, but only time will tell. Because I will have to also bring up some GG bet odds just before the game officially starts.
30 seconds to battle.
EHOME do look to be the slight favourites going into this third game. So, only slight. It can still go either way. Nothing set in stone.
It's pretty tight. I think both teams, when with their respective wins, look just as powerful as the other at their best. And this is probably one of the more even drafts. Right? You're not looking at late timings for either cores. It is all fairly even, although I would say EHOME's is most certainly a bit faster. Like the Sven does have a bit of time to cook up. But you're not seeing a disparity like the Medusa versus a faster core, or the Spectre versus a faster core. It's much closer in timings here, and that can be a bit interesting. Like, you don't have to really think about one hero just free farming in this case.
I wonder what kind of item build he will go for on Arme as well. Like, it's going to be really important for Arme to have a good game. Like, once you get to those mid to late game stages, like, sure, the Quap does okay, but you are going to be very reliant on that Sven to have that damage that you need. We talked about it, that BKB, it's, you know, probably not even going to be necessary this game to really have.
I don't know. I feel like you still want it just to prevent yourself from being kited from the stun of the DK, the stun of Avenge alone is going to be hard. And potential halberds. So you want to pop it preemptively and just start attacking. You have to start these fights. You cannot counter initiate. Because the disarm's just going to ruin the Sven. If ever we see like a halberd on, nothing to say.
Even then, I guess if you're going to pick up a halberd, Sync Q's there as well. Faith Beyond wouldn't mind picking one up on the Prophet. Plenty of options.
Just makes it really hard for that Sven. Oh.
Things looking pretty even in the mid lane, as you'd expect. The Quap versus DK lineup, it just doesn't really do much in the form of entertainment. They just both farm. Nothing to say. Once he gets to that level 2 Dragon Blood, we'll have a much easier time with that passive regen. But for now, he did opt for that level 2 Dragon's Breath. That's perfectly fine as well. Just trying to slow down XM and secure those range creeps from a distance.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty stable. Again, as you mentioned, no real kill ops. Slight lead though for XM, so just a bit of a better time there in terms of finding those creeps at least.
There is the, you haven't really got much potential either to rotate supports in for that Queen of Pain. He's just kind of, just fine. There's not enough stun to really keep him down long enough at these early levels to be able to secure that kill. Of course, up to the top lane, you'll see James there on the Earthshaker. He's going to be there with SRF. You have Sylar and Y also there on the Venge Lycan. And it's kind of problematic here for SRF because he can't slow down Sylar very much. Like, you can turn on Scorched Earth and Fissure like this, but Sylar should be okay to just run out. And with that Feral Impulse, that passive regen as well from that Lycan, once you get it to level 2, he just goes nowhere. He just sits in lane constantly. Worst case scenario, he goes to the jungle for a little bit. But ultimately, there's just no way to slow him down.
Yeah, it's just a lot harder for the Doom to contest here, and you can already see that with how SRF itemized. Went for the chainmail along with 2 rings of protection, just so that he won't get run down by the wolves. So that's a lot of early investment into armor just to maintain this lane.
I mean, I can't disagree with it. Got the Wave of Terror there as well from the Venge, and makes things really, really hard. And then, well, CDEC trying to set up here on nothing to say. You've got James there in the back, just waiting for a nice Fisher. Nothing to say. Came back in, but the Fisher, it will eventually come out. Nothing to say. Trying to find a gap. He finds one as well. Ooh.
Ooh.
That was tight.
Yeah, that was very much a nice slip through. I didn't expect the pattern to actually play in his favor, but nothing to say does waste the time of CDEC just a bit and frees up his side lanes, although I don't think you're going to be getting too much still. That is some time wasted, and XM is out of regen here.
He is. And this is that point on the Queen of Pain where things can get a little bit difficult. As Sin Q does rotate in, but doesn't have Fire Spirits off cooldown, but now Faith's here. And XM, did he just pop a mango? I believe he did. That doesn't work the same way as a Fairy Fire. That's the real problem with that. Faith turns around with the Sprout. James going to be in trouble now as the Magic Missile does fly out. I don't know if they have enough damage, but perhaps with the tree and body blocks it could be, but Faith couldn't really find the angling for it. But with the Wave of Terror and with the DPS output from Faith Beyond, nobody could really contest. They're all just getting brought down to such low HP pools, and well, XM now, he is back in the mid lane, so you have him there to jump in like this and just throw that Shadow Strike out, but you've got more help coming in. XM looking for that blink, gets Magic Missile up, Faith Beyond, TP's out and does have the teleportation back up in 5 seconds. Sin Q meanwhile just focusing on Victoria. Breathe Fire will fly through but not connect on anyone, but now XM gonna get stunned up. There's Faith on the high ground now, getting Victoria on that Lich, but they did at least get Sin Q as a trade. Now James will come in on the Earthshaker trying to secure Y, but he's forced the Fisher the other side of the river just to ensure that XM is able to walk out of there safely. And it continues, like Faith Beyond is going for that bounty rune now, and James is just trapped up in the Sprout. XM though going to come in. Faith has the urn. He's going to try and man fight here up against XM, who did just blink, but the Breathe Fire again, not really connecting. So XM will be able to walk out of there, and now James, he'll continue going on to Faith Beyond. Sprout will be there. And now nothing to say, may need to get out of there as XM is back into this team fight, and Faith should eventually drop. He tries to go for the Roshan deny and does get it in time as well. Such a prolonged team fight. So many rotations, and Faith, he just denies himself.
Whew, that's a lot of commitment from both sides, of course. I'm sure the side lane cores are enjoying that. Like, you basically had no contestation, so Sylar gets to farm a lot safer. SRF as well doesn't have to worry about support rotations. And the one really to win out is Ame, because Faith Beyond's not there, and he's not contested.
He's in trouble. Sylar, where are you going? So you're getting body blocked by Y. Fish is going to come out. Now they may settle on James. Or no, Sylar, he really wants that Doom. And we'll find him. I don't believe they'll have enough time for James. No, the Lycan Wolf form should be over in a second, and still a very important kill though on the Doom, and Sylar's going to enjoy that bonus golden XP.
Yeah, it's you are seeing the effect of EHOME's slightly faster draft here. Like Faith Beyond is just able to get the rotations out. He's been active mid, he's been active top. He doesn't really care about waiting around with Ame. He understands this Sven is just going to be able to find farm anyway at this point. So he just goes around trying to shut down everyone else, and it has been kind of paying off. CDEC does still maintain a slight lead.
Sylar, Fish is going to be there to try and set up on this Lycan. He has plenty of units around, and SRF, he doesn't have the Doom yet. He actually opted to miss it. He is running with Scorched Earth. Magic Missile, though, from Y going to slow him down, and now Sin Q shows up on the Phoenix. They'll make the jump onto James. James trying to run away, but no, he's been body blocked up. And he will go down to Sylar of all people. The Wolves will claim the kill. Meanwhile, nothing to say. Gonna actually find Victoria on the Lich. And he's trying to run away, but this time he will go down. Y actually the one to secure the kill with the Wave of Terror. And that can allow the DK to get a bit of chip damage into this tier 1 tower. In fact, he'll go on to XM and try to take a power rune that doesn't even exist. It's up at the top lane. Y will take the regen rune for himself. None of those mid-cores get the power rune they wanted.
Yeah, it's a bit ballsy from nothing to say, but the dragon form hasn't really chipped away at the tier 1, so that's something for CDEC. No major objectives being brought too low just yet. EHOME are still kind of taking their time there, but they have juggled around these ult usages quite nicely. We've seen the wolf form, we've seen the dragon form, and they have been used to great effect. Right now, CDC though, I'm sure they're pretty happy with the fact that Ame's free farming. 75 last hits, up against the next person at 58. It's been a spectacular time for Ame on this free lane. Like, you are going to be hitting that timing. We will still have to find out what he does opt for in the end. Like, what he does finish up with his itemization first.
Well, he's going for Mask of Madness. It's on the way right now on the courier. So he'll have the MOM up. That's going to really escalate that farm quite a lot. And of course, we all know what happens with God Strength and Mask of Madness. It's a lot of damage, assuming they don't kite you around. But for now, I believe Ame will just, just use it to secure more farm, just a bit more quickly. Just currently actually walking away as EHOME have smoked up, so he's just being a bit cautious here down at the bot lane, expecting a gank to come. EHOME, they're focusing on mid though, and in fact they'll start on James. There will be a stun out. Ame has rotated, a great fish from James, but they've lost Y, and James does also go down, and now the egg to drop. Can they deal with it? Ame, he does. He does take it out, but XM does die on the Queen of Pain, and now Ame being chased down by the Lycan, and this is the real problem here. A lot of people dropping. It's a 4-for-4 trade in the end. Surprisingly enough, I thought Ame may have just turned around there and just started man fighting, perhaps not realizing SRF was actually taking care of the rest. Ultimately, does seem to pay off a little bit more for EHOME.
Yeah, they do benefit a little bit more with that trade. I think losing your Sven is not the best though. The fact that Sylar does get away there unscathed is a bit of an issue. Still, execution of EHOME is not quite up there. The egg position wasn't the best, and a couple of things, it felt a bit too staggered to really maximize that, so CDEC does still find a way to stay in there. And again, they still have a slight net worth lead here from CDEC. They are really putting all their eggs into Ame so far. I think that's something EHOME has to start punishing. Like, they don't really have wards on this Radiant jungle. If they want to keep a lid on this Sven, they're going to have to track him.
They're just ignoring him for now. Ame just goes back to farming. He's got a AC queued up now, so just wants to go for that Assault Cuirass, get that bonus armor for his team, and really start to escalate on this Sven a little bit. There will be a TP onto James. Faith Beyond, Sprout gonna be, well, he has a Quelling Blade just in case that happens, so he does get out of there. Sylar will go ahead and just trade the tier 1 towers, as we already had one going down up at the top lane thanks to XM. It's still a very even game, like no one's really winning this out too hard. But EHOME, you look to that mid lane, John, they are really starting to apply a lot of pressure with this DK. And you start to wonder as well, what time will Ame be ready to fight properly?
The Assault Cuirass should be the time they're looking for, although I think you want the Blink as well. Or an Ags, just to get yourself in the fight. But a lot of the damage that is coming out from EHOME right now is mostly physical. And again, that's down to the Venge and everyone else. It's down to the minus armor that they're pumping out. So the AC is going to take a lot of that away. You will just want to wait for that from Ame. And would rate his farms going maybe around the 16 to 18 minute marks when you're going to be seeing that. Maybe a bit quicker if he finds a couple of kills.
I'm gonna need I guess just keep doing what he's doing. Like, he's still on the top of the net worth board on that Sven. There's nothing wrong with what Ame is doing right now. He's just doing what he needs to do, and EHOME just don't seem to mind though. They seem to have no care in the world about this Sven, completely ignoring him so far. Guess they're just waiting for Sylar to have that Necro 3 book up. And perhaps once the level 3 book is available, maybe that's when they decide we should go probably deal with Ame.
Yeah, it's kind of reminiscent of what they did in Game 1 though. Like, they completely ignored the Spectre. And again, CDEC in Game 2 completely ignored Medusa. So when you get these farming cores, you leave them alone, they can do a lot of damage. EHOME has to be a bit careful with just how much space they're giving away there.
Well, smoke up from CDEC. Why? Gonna be an easy kill. Seen this one before. Why just kind of accepts his death, and EHOME, they've been crowded into that mid lane, expecting the smoke gank to come. Luckily for them, it was just Y dying. While that was happening, Necro 3 book is now available on Sylar, and a blink is on the way for Nothing to Say, and I imagine EHOME will probably want to go for a smoke straight after, and yeah, there we go. Of course, they want that mid tier 1 tower. They are fighting into a 2k net worth lead, and SRF just denies that tower off, but they want to go for this Doom kill now. Egg was dropped very preemptively just to make sure they get it off in time, and they do. SRF, he'll drop Silent, the one to claim the kill, and they are heading towards the north of the map, EHOME. Not really much else to take here in the mid lane, so it's back to farming.
Yeah, they are really disciplined about just how far in the map they go, although Sylar is on the Radiant jungle, and they don't quite have the overarching vision here. They might get spotted out, and that's going to be an opportunity for CDEC.
Yeah, do they find them though? Sylar gonna run straight into XM, just pops the wolf form. That's why he feels so safe. In fact, he's gonna turn around a little bit now into XM. There are 5 heroes around, but they got Fisher blocked by themselves. And that'll be it. Just a little bit of a scuttle. Claim the 15-minute bounty runes. They will get them. And ultimately, they find all 4 across the map, by the way, EHOME. Is the sign of CDEC. We're still chasing that Lycan. And again, they just kind of avoid any other form of interaction here with the side of CDEC.
Yeah, they're just trying to hit and run on smaller objectives right now, which is kind of paying off, and this plays into the kiting issue you're seeing with this Sven. Like, he is going to have the AC up and running as soon as his courier's back up, but then he can't gap close. You still want the Blink or the Ags here to help you out with that issue. GG branches.
Yeah, GG branches indeed. Feeling confident, CDEC. They'll start forcing in that mid tower. Arme will pop the Gaunt Strength. Of course, with the Mask of Madness, he's hitting very, very fast, even with those Fire Spirits on top of him. Also has the Hyperstone and is very, very close to the AC now. Which is, not sure how concerned EHOME are getting about this. But he's been at the top of the net worth board the whole time. I don't know. It may work against them to have left him this long.
Yeah, it can be an issue. I think the reason why EHOME's feeling confident is that they have been kiting him well. Again, he just doesn't have the best natural gap close, and everyone from EHOME moves pretty darn fast, except Y. You know, but they don't really care if Y dies. It's just avenged. They can just kind of toss him away.
Poor Victoria. And he's gonna die, and now the jump in straight after
man.
Arme. This is the kill. Oh no,
wow.
he hit the Necro Book creep.
Oh. Yeah,
Oh,
I was wondering why he melted fast.
I mean, you got some gold, but maybe he just assumed he was dead anyway. It's like, if I'm gonna die, I may as well just take some extra gold while I'm at it. That's probably the thought process there for Arme.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't blame him. It's trying to make the most out of a bad situation, right? Like, he still finds that gold. There are issues now coming out, though. You take a look at Sylar, he's going straight for the halberd. So, without a BKB, you're just going to be disarmed constantly. If you pop that strength, Sylar's just going to be there, disarm you, and you waste a lot of time in that ult.
It's true. He has queued up a BKB now in the Sven though, so after the AC decides, okay, it's time for that BKB to come out. Nothing to say going for the exact same thing, trying to go for a BKB on the DK. Meanwhile, XM, he does have enough gold to finish off that full Aghanim Scepter now. He has been farming it for the last 10 minutes or so, and it's essentially just an Ag's Rush here on the Quap, and well, he's going to go ahead and pick it up straight away, just TPing straight back to the Fountain. That could make a fair bit of difference, right? Because you have a lot of wave clear now and a very low cooldown on that Queen of Pain. Speaking of, now James has a blink up on the ES on the way. So a lot of big items here for CDEC, and I imagine they'll probably want to go for a surprise reveal, and yeah, there's the smoke there. Could be a huge team fight. Nothing to say though, it's just casually sitting in mid with an Invis rune, so they don't want to run that way. They will be fighting into the Heaven's Halberd now of Sylar. And unfortunately for CDEC, they're currently running the wrong way. Arme, he'll take the outpost back, but that's really all they're going to get.
Yeah, it's a lack of vision from CDC. They don't really have aggressive wards, which you can't fault them for. Again, they have been kind of playing on the back foot in terms of map control for a while. So they haven't been able to get too much far out. And it does cost them the smoke. It could be a bit tricky, though, if they push up this cliff, this ramp. There is a bit of a height advantage here for EHOME.
Oh, they're going to try, it seems. SRF going to show himself now. He is currently alone, his team a bit behind. Egg going to be dropped right in the middle. There's a Sonic Wave with a Fisher, but that kind of blocks SRF in. The poor guy, he just goes down. Now Sylar going to start making the chase on the Lycan, but he's going to be surrounded now as well. Has he gone too far? They stun him up with the Echo. Faith protecting with the Sprout. Sylar, he does go to the Chain Frost, and now it looks like Arme is more than comfortable to start cleaning up. A great Fisher from James. That'll be another in the form of the DK. White definitely going to die here to XM. And the rest of EHOME just getting out of there immediately. Not wanting to be involved any further. And Sylar just getting a bit overly excited, just running away from his whole team.
Yeah, that was really costly because they were delayed by that fissure. And he needed the rest of his team there, even if he had the disarm. Like, you're still playing into 4 heroes there, Sylar. So, bit keen, does cost him, and CDEC does kind of even out the game again. We're at less than 1k lead for EHOME. 9-13, 20 minutes in. Ame, from that set of kills, is slowly but surely building into that BKB. And once that's up, you will not have the best control for the Sven. Like, you will have to just rely on, like, Sprout, but he's not selling this Quelling Blade. So it's going to be down to really strong swaps from Y. Just drag him as far away as possible. Once that BKB is up, that's really all you'll be hoping for in terms of control.
SRF, they want to jump this Doom again. It's going to be the Dragon Tail to set up, and Icarus Dive as well as the Sunray. SRF still pretty healthy though. Just running away, Spirit Vessel ticking him down, but do they have enough? Nothing to say. Yeah, he'll jump back in with a stun. Another great Fisher out from James. He does not have Echo, so they can't really go for this team fight, CDEC. Or maybe they can. James, he jumps back in. They did allow the Doom to survive, and why? He's dropping. He'll go down. They do use the egg up. CDEC can try and run out of there. They do find James as a trade for now. Sylar, meanwhile, just scouting out the high ground for his team. But they will not go any further. And it's just a bit of a back and forth between these two. I suppose it's kind of like the best case scenario for CDEC because they did protect their Doom.
Yeah, they did have to use the egg as well in EHOME, so you're not going to have that spell anytime soon. This is going to cost them, and CDEC understands they smoke up. They don't have to worry about that egg.
Straight into nothing to say, but he realizes something is wrong. Does go back to farm the bot wave though. Just uses Blink. It's going to be off cooldown in 3, but he's not going to have enough time. He does get poisoned up by XM. He does Dragon Tail, but it's not going to be enough as Victoria had the gaze, and XM will give him the Sonic Wave. And with all this time that's been bought, Arme has really gotten very, very close to finishing off that full BKB. They even feel confident enough to just go after the bot tier 1 tower and just get a bit of a gold boost for themselves. In fact, XM, blinking forward, won't find any bond.
Radiant structures are fortified. Dire's bottom
Faith Beyond will try to trade that top tier 1 tower, but they will have James there to defend and even Arme to come in and just really clean up those creeps.
Yeah, it's EHOME does feel like it's starting to lose some ground here. We were talking about timings and CDEC taking a little bit longer. You're going to see that in play now. Again, BKB going to be flying out very soon for Ame. Next thing you'll want is probably just a Blinker Ags. Then suddenly the Sven, who is already a bit of an issue, just gets kind of out of control, and you haven't seen all the objectives taken just yet for EHOME. Like the top tier 1 still standing, tier 2's down mid, and top of course still standing. So you want to see them maximize this kind of split push strat a lot more. but they have been hindered. They haven't been able to translate those early kills to any more major towers.
Oh, there'll be a smoke coming out.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
EHOME seem to be aware that, again, something is awry. They'll wait in the tree line.
Dire
CDEC
are
just kind of hunting for their prey.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Top T1 does eventually go down, but that was just to the creeps. Because the treants were there from Faith Beyond to really help it out. And, well, if they don't want to fight, we'll go for a Roshan, they say. And, well, why not? CDEC, they're just going to take this for free. EHOME, not even sure if they're aware. The pings do finally come out. Are they going to have enough time to get there, though? It's looking rough. A wolf will scout it. Immediately devoured by SRF. EHOME still thinking they have time, and they definitely do. They're running their way in. Wolf form, egg to be dropped. Now nothing to say, just jumping in, but the Aegis has been taken by Arme, so the fight will officially start. The egg does pop all the way. SRF getting very, very low, but does get the Doom off onto the DK. Why? Getting a swap off, trying to deal with SRF here, but they are continuing to chase the DK up. Sala, meanwhile, ends up with a double kill in the back. Coming in for more now. They're trying to chase after Arme on that Sven, who is getting ticked down by that Spirit Vessel Sync Q, trying to sneak his way in to get the final tick of damage, but they just can't do it. Arme will survive and will keep the Aegis on hand. Ultimately, seemed like a very, very even team fight, perhaps even CDEC inching just slightly ahead.
Yeah, for sure. They managed to take the Aegis in the end. They force out the egg. They found some big kills. Ame escaped with like 8 HP at the last tick. Really close. Unfortunate for EHOME that they could not really get what they wanted out. They found a Roche a bit too late. Their response was a bit too rushed, and it cost them. They still do maintain a slight net worth lead here from EHOME, but you're starting to see the issues in this draft. They're not able to control that Sven, even with the swaps. And it is starting to be a bit dicey, although SRF.
Yeah. They just love going after this Doom, but Arme is going to be there to help him out straight after that Phoenix, but he's been sprouted up, still turning it around, going after those units from Sylar, but he just goes down on the Doom. Now Arme going to be in trouble, but a great Fissure and Sonic Wave from XM with the Chain Frost bouncing through. They do find Y, and here comes that Earthshaker jumping in for, well, not really an Echo. He doesn't have one right now. The Aegis does expire. Arme still willing to fight. Pops the God Strength onto Faith Beyond. The Sunray is there to heal him up. Faith can't get out of there. He will die. Arme's BKB does wear off, but nobody's left to really deal with this Sven any longer. And again, EHOME will be forced to back out of there.
Yeah, they just, the moment they kind of blow all of their spells like that on the first life of the Sven, they don't have follow-up. And they were kind of playing less than their full team. So they were lacking a lot of follow-up options. They do still at least find a kill, but again, you're trading pretty hard now. CDEC does start to pull ahead in terms of overall net worth. And they have a lot of room to grow. Yeah, like you look at Ame, he's going for the Satanic next. So he's going to have all the sustain in these fights now. He is going to be probably disassembling that Mask of Madness for it, of course, but he's just going to have all the strength in the world, all the damage in the world. And even XM is building into that Shiva's card. So a lot of durability and slows to counteract how mobile EHOME has been.
CDEC feeling much more confident, going across the river now. Say, might have to be a little bit careful. They would have spotted out that breathe fire. Oh, there's been a bounty set. We finally see it, and it's going to be on Y. As if poor old Y wasn't having a tough enough time on the Vengeful Spirit. They want to kill him off and get that those extra battle pass points. Nothing wrong with that. You know, what I've noticed as well, once these teams start setting bounties, that means they're very, very confident. I can't really blame CDEC for really feeling that way at this point in the game, especially. You're getting to the point now where Arme is going for a Satanic. It's like after that, how do you deal with him?
You basically can't. Like, the kite ability is not there, and it's simply because your best tool is Sprout, and Quelling Blade's a thing, although...
Dire's middle tower
Fisher
is under
is going to be juked out from nothing to say. CDEC, they really want to start applying some more pressure onto that tier 2 mid tower. But it is very, very hard. Like, you've got that Nature's Wrath that just clears out the creep waves over and over again. Sure, it's on cooldown now. They're just waiting for that next creep wave. Then again, you know that the triangle is probably occupied right now by EHOME, and there we go. SRF does confirm it to be so. And EHOME, without even really doing anything, they're kind of just delaying this tier 2 out. Like, they can't actually take it. Perhaps they have to wait for the Dragon Form from Nothing to Say to end, but they're going to just jump in with a Fisher block on Nothing to Say. He's still very tanky. They get the Doom off, but the BKB was already there. Can they actually burst this DK down? Sonic Wave through. Y does get a nice swap off. Meanwhile, in the back, who have they found? That is going to be Sylar on the Lycan. He got gazed by the Lich, and now Y dying on the Venge. He does go down. Bounty secured. And that mid-tier 2 tower now should be fairly open for the side of CDEC to just take for themselves.
Dire's middle tower.
Yeah, it's like they have to wait out the fortify, but EHOME, they don't have an egg to play around, and they don't have the dragon form for a little bit more.
They're happy to keep going as well if EHOME really want to try and keep fighting.
Top tower is under
Arme still hits hard without God Strength.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, it's they're gonna have to give it out. I don't know if CDEC can go high though. Like, they don't have God Strength just yet. They're probably just gonna take the tier 2 and fall back. You do start to reach into the respawns of EHOME anyway. So they finally take that mid tier 2, right? They've been looking at that objective for a while. And you have the Satanic up on Ame now. So he has the Satanic. They can actually fight once the God Strength's back up. His damage is going to shoot up so much. And his durability as well. And he's queuing up the Butterfly next. So just looking like a really strong Sven game for him. And again, it's that same issue we've seen across every game in the series. You have one team pick up a big farmy core that never gets hunted down. And it just comes out of control afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those games. Did you say Butterfly, John? I think you meant MKB.
Nah, he switched it out. He queued up the Butterfly a while ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Still more damage. Still more twack come out for his Sven, and EHOME, you know, they're on a lightning graph. There was a bit of a timer here, which it feels like they've kind of missed. So they're trying to build up on Sylar. Already has the AC. Where do you go from there? How do you match up against this Sven?
Gotta tell me, John, you're the analyst. I'm just as humble. I'm just a humble play-by-play caster, sir. Arme gonna try and bait the side of EHOME in. They will smoke up on the side of CDEC. Not waiting for that MKB at all. And I don't blame them. Arme doesn't need the MKB. It's just more like a luxury item. EHOME, they are aware that something is going wrong here, so they just back out of there immediately. And, well, mid lane, they didn't back out all the way. They'll lose Nothing to Say.
Ooh.
And that is not the greatest of news here for EHOME, as this game just continues to go the way of CDEC. Arme says, screw it, I'm going for this tier 3 tower. Oh my. There is currently a bench in the middle of all these heroes, as Sylar had to be swapped out of there. XM just going to continue keeping Sylar at bay. That tier 3 tower taken so easily. The Faith Beyond on the brighter side of things can just continue spamming Sprout and delay things here for this mid-ranks, but eventually they will just chop the trees down and get through the building.
Dire's middle barracks.
And, well, there's no other lanes they can take because there are still 2 tier 2 towers available, but it's a big win for CDEC.
Yeah, EHOME, they can't afford to get reckless like that. They do rely on all of their heroes now to take these fights, because they don't have the best team fight here. It's just not as great as a Shaker can bring, and even a Lich. Like, Venge is very single target orientated. The Phoenix Egg is outstanding, especially with that Ag Sin Q has had forever. It's just there's nothing to help him set up. So it's super hard to execute for EHOME, and it's just gonna get worse. You've got the MKB up on Ame that we've been talking about, so his damage shoots up even more. You're gonna be really hard pressed to get the control onto the Sven. You are seeing like another halberd build up on our DK, but oh,
Here we go. They'll start. There'll be a stun straight onto SRF. They really just hate that Doom. But an Echo comes in from James, straight on top of Sylar, and he is gone. And here comes the chase. Egg popped, but that is just a panic egg. It's going to do nothing. They try to delay it out to allow the egg to finish all the way, but it will not. There's 3 heroes down now. Faith Beyond, he's going to try and make a run for it with that BKB, but it doesn't look great because you might just lose nothing to say in the process. There'll be a buyback from Sylar, but he doesn't have Wolf form. But they know that the tier 4s may be under siege soon, and Faith Beyond, he's been caught out again. The only man left standing is Sylar. He just bought back. You do have a buyback on Faith Beyond as well, but I don't think they can defend these tier 4s.
no, it's you're gonna lose God Strength in a bit, but you're just gonna melt through these objectives anyway. 2 heroes against the world.
Middle tower is under attack.
Can they hold out?
Just going to surround himself with mangoes right now. That's what's important. Just go to the mango tree, boys. That'll solve everything.
XM takes it.
Yeah, he does. And well, they jump in. The Ancient is falling. CDEC, they will be able to pull off this 2-1 victory up against EHOME. And